Yeah. Sounds like you've been thinking up lots of questions.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this. It's gonna be fun. So, what I will start with, Penny, is that, I mean, you have been teaching intuition for like decades.
Yes.
Yeah, many years. You've been teaching
Yeah.
intuition for so many years.
Yeah.
And so my first question is, why is it so important to learn about intuition? Well, I mean, it's...
I think it's getting more and more important,
Mhm.
actually, because we're going into this shift of perception, where the information age, which is very much about the left brain, is becoming so saturated with information that we can't process it the same way in this linear fashion anymore. And we're going to have to move to the right brain in order to have a kind of a direct knowing of many things. So this is really where intuition comes in, because it is direct knowing. And it works with the body, the mind, the spirit, everything all unified.
So what I'm kind of hearing is that the old way of perception is kind of too slow.
It's getting that way. Yeah. And I think we can all feel it. We want everything to go faster. The computers are, everything. I mean, I can't even stand, to have 4 or 5 seconds before a new program comes up on the, on my email. Yeah.
So also it seems to me that you have we know that we live in accelerated times, and we know the problems that follows with that, like stress and burnout and loss of meaning, and you don't feel connected and all that. But it seems like that you have, a positive outview of these accelerated times.
I do. I think that we're in a long-term process, but it's been going on already for a long time, so that we're nearing the end part of it, which is a good thing. But that we're also in the deepest, most intense part of it also, of clearing out our fear and anything that's blocking the flow of the soul through the personality. So that's a big mouthful, but I think that, we have been cut off from our spiritual roots for a long, long time, because we've been stuck in the left brain. And it's really intuition that is the connecting link between the personality and the soul, or the personality and our home in spirit, where everything works according to these amazing principles of fluidity and everything supports everything else. There is no fear there. It's all, there's no blockage there. And I think we're starting to get the feeling that spiritual realm can interpenetrate now into the physical world, and the physical world can start to operate according to those principles. And it is starting to do that. And mainly because of this acceleration that's happening.
So why do you think it's like that? Why do you think it's like that? And why do you think it's like the end of the old times and the new time is very close?
I think partly because that we have the internet, we have global, actually physical, mental, global interconnections now. Whereas in the old days, certain priesthoods, for sure, they got enlightened and they moved into this kind of consciousness we're talking about, but it was rarefied. Now masses of people are starting to wake up and get it. And then as they do, then more people wake up as they talk to other people. And so there are waves of waking up now that's happening. And so I think it's like a snowball, It's going to accelerate now at a greater speed, this waking up process. Well, and go back, I want to connect this all back to what you said about intuition, because, on some levels, intuition is just a really handy thing to use during the day. It helps you, for one thing, it helps you access the imaginal realm. And to me, the imaginal realm is sort of an equivalent of the unified field, where everything is possible. All the possible variables are there. Every story, every kind of reality. It's like a pantry that you can pull things off the shelf and use it and then put it back if you want, and you can make anything you want based on those internal combinations of variables. And so we need to learn how to use our imagination, and certainly intuition, it lets us learn, or let's say remember how to do, because we do know that when we're children, but we don't bring that often with us into our adulthood. So accessing is a big deal. That means getting new ideas, innovation, solving problems in a unique and original way. And then as you access, then you bring it in and you start to run it through your physical experience, and you stay involved in the process of what's happening, and then you engage with the flow, where that flow is part of intuition as well. It's a constant checking and checking and checking, with allowing that larger sanity to help you. And then you work with it, and it's like any creative process. If you get involved in making music or a painting, you do something, and then the process itself does something and shows you, and then you do it again, and then the process does it, and you have this kind of, co-creation with this mystical, magical thing. That's intuition. That's that direct connection with wisdom, knowledge, and the flow. And you get into that, and then of course you get more synchronicity. You have more of an immediate sense of whether something is truthful, a lie, safe or dangerous, appropriate or not appropriate for that moment. So you can gauge things quickly, make decisions quickly and accurately. And so there are many, many advantages to having a really good active intuition.
Yeah, I can see.
In addition, it's entertaining. Yourself. Right?
Yeah. It's also that,
I've come to see that self-entertainment is a pretty high state, and it's kind of a way of being in the world where it's not selfish, but it keeps you in a state of joy. And the joy allows the soul to flow through. It allows that intuition to stay open. And I think it's very important for us to start to get into that state of being where we're not afraid all the time and protecting ourselves and acting out of old fear beliefs.
What I hear you saying also is that intuition is productive, innovation, problems, but it's also good enough in itself, like play. It's self-entertainment. It's good enough in itself. It's both.
That's right.
Wonderful.
I mean, I don't think that we can really live very fulfilling lives unless we're really connected with spirit. And spirit being the deep, deep, deep inner reality of where we come from, our deep home experience, who we really are. It's not some weird thing out there. It's the real truth. And it's presence. And if you don't have that connection, you feel depressed, really. That's, the disconnection from that state of being. Or knowledge of the soul or self, and that I am my soul. I don't have a soul. It's not out there like a balloon on a string. It is me. We're it now.
Penny, how did you come to experience that? How did you come to this conclusion and this knowledge, this wisdom? How did it come to you?
Many years of practicing, of meditating, of centering myself constantly, of checking with my body about what I sense is right, not right, true, not true, a little bit more true than a little less true, like really sensitive gauging of whether something's on purpose or off a little bit. And then doing tens of thousands of readings for people where I feel other people's energy, how their lives are working, their patterns, just like reading patterns constantly, whether it's in people or in an event or in a future trend that might be coming, or I don't know, it just all added up after a while. And I mean, that's part of my spiritual practice, is really engaging with the moment and feeling what it's doing. What's the energy doing underneath things? And how does that affect me and the things around me?